Welcome back here today on the beautiful campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. Another in our series of what's going on in the community. It's actually got a little bit cooler tinge to the air. I know it's going to get hot again before it's over. We still have the Wausau Possum Festival coming up, and that's arguably the hottest weekend of the year. But it does seem to be showing just a little bit of the harbinger of the fall weather to come. School's getting ready to get back into session. Soon we'll have football, the smell of wood smoke in the air, all that we enjoy about autumn in Northwest Florida. Today we have with us Elijah Hooks, who's actually president this year, incoming president of Chipley High School, as well as Alicia Clemmons, incoming principal of Chipley High School. And you've met Alicia in a previous episode. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about just that. We're going to talk about the student body. We're going to talk about Elijah's perspective coming into this brand new position, as well as the brand new school year. There's a lot of exciting things happening in academia. There's certainly on a local basis that offsets all of the emphasis on the school safety. We are looking for really good things out of these students, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about when we come back and talking to Elijah and Alicia about everything going on at Chipley High School, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guest today is Elijah Hooks and Alicia Clemmons, both from Chipley High School. You had to correct me, Elijah. I thought you were the president of the senior class. You're the president of the entire school. Is that something new?
No, sir. We've always had the student council, and it really hasn't been used by students as much as we wanted it to. But
okay.
We're trying to make our student council program bigger and better this year, and so that future generations of students can join student council and already have an outline of how to run it.
Gotcha. Alicia, you've been on the show obviously before, talking about the opening of the school for this upcoming school year. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
well, you're very welcome. Alicia, talk a little bit about the importance of having student leaders. You know, I would guess, as a non-administrator, that your job would be much easier if you have students who by their position within that student body, help to take charge, to be that role model, to do from within what you're trying to do sometimes from without. Talk a little bit about the importance of student leaders such as Elijah.
I think it's very important that students get to learn from people their age, and if you think about Elijah, what he does on campus, what he does for the school, what he does for the community, a lot of students look up to him as being like a role model. And Chipley High School, we're preparing students. It's about preparing students. And leaders, one day he could be the principal of Chipley High School. One day he could be the president of the United States of America. And if we can say that we've helped in preparing him to get there, then we've done our job. So it's modeling and preparation. And that's why we have to involve students so that they can get that practice. It has to be embedded in them, and whatever we can do to help them to get to where they need to be, that's what we'll do at Chipley High School.
Now we're going to talk to Elijah, but you, coming from Rolac, did you have the opportunity to watch Elijah go through middle school as well?
I did. I didn't teach Elijah, but Elijah was involved. We had what was called a mentoring through music program at Chipley High School, where we worked with students after school, and we tried to grab them through music. And or just even the lyrics from a song, just helping them read the lyrics and understand what the words meant. Elijah took part of that. He was a part of our Black History program, and I remember that he recited one of Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches. And the title was, I Have a Dream. I Have a Dream. And from that day, I knew that Elijah had that leadership skill in him. He had it, and he's still using it today, and I'm very proud of him.
Elijah, by the nature of what our firm does and my involvement here at the Technical College, we've been following your progress for quite some time. I dare say we've got photos of you from back before you'd care for people to see photos of you, maybe. But you have been a very visible part of the community. What made you interested in taking on this leadership role? What gave you the strength to want to be up in that position where, let's face it, you're going to be the target in some cases of people who go, what's he doing up there? Talk a little bit about that whole mindset, what it takes to do that.
Really, what you're saying, like about leadership skills, it really goes back to our education. Our education system has really prepared me for this moment. Starting back in 7th grade in my civics class, Miss Patty Carter's civics class, that's when I really got the motivation to be like a student leader and government, and learning the government, how the government works and how everything goes in the United States. And then going after Miss Patty Carter's class, it was a class called AVID, which you're probably familiar with. AVID has really prepared me on public speaking and different other engagements that really has driven me to be the leader I am today and the leader I will be in the future.
Yeah, we had the fortune of actually working with Jorenda White's AVID class. And just last year, I guess it was around before the first of the year, we did some sessions and actually helped them to produce a video explaining what AVID was. And I have to admit that up to that point, I was unaware of everything that AVID did. But I saw, even within that couple of days that we worked with them here in this very studio, I saw these students change right before my eyes. And I'm a believer that if you put the weight on them, they will develop the muscle to carry it. If you put the weight on them, they'll develop the courage and the tenacity to accept the fact that they can do it. So I think sometimes our biggest challenge to us is that we don't challenge our students or our children enough. The nature of being a parent or a grandparent is you want to make things easier on them. You always want them to have more and better than what we had. But muscle grows when it's challenged and it's broken down. It's like a bodybuilder. They move their muscles to the point where they're actually destroying it, and then when it comes back stronger. Would you agree that maybe sometimes you need to have that trial by fire, to do things like you're about to do for this school year, to develop and become all that you can truly be?
Yes, sir. These little things. Right now, I'm student council president of over 500 students, and maybe I'll be the president of the world, over 3.5 billion people around the United States. So this is a stepping stone into what I'll be doing in the future. Maybe I'll be a CEO of a company or a manager of a store or something like that, or a lawyer in a law firm. And this is, I would say, is a stepping stone that really shows if I'm going to sink and swim. So,
what are your long-term plans? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself in 10 years maybe working for a lobbying firm, lobbying for different things. I don't know what I want to lobby for right now, whichever brings the most money.
Yeah.
The most money, sir. So, yeah, I see myself working for a lobby firm, hopefully being a partner in a lobbying firm. And
so by default, would that require a law degree?
Yes, sir.
So you'd into the legal system to some extent. Wow, but you're right. That probably is where the money is, and you can turn on a dime. You can lobby A against B and then B against A, and it pays the same.
Yeah, I think every single company or every single organization really has a lobbyist. And
the educational system does.
Yeah.
We use lobbyists for the union in Tallahassee.
You can lobby for anything. You can lobby for the shirt that's made right here, the ISO, this shirt right here, your shirt right here. Anything, literally anything, is lobbying.
What have been your interests, in the last 4 to 5, 6 years that have led you to where you are today? Because let's face it, when you were still in middle school, unless you were just truly one in a million, you probably didn't have as clear-cut a designed path to take. So what things happened over the last several years that kind of pushed you in this direction?
I've attended, it'll be my second year. Last year, I've attended the Florida House Page and Messenger's program where I was a page and messenger there. And I really...
Who was your sponsor?
My sponsor was Representative Brad Drake.
Okay.
Brad Drake, yes. Yes, sir. And it really has pushed me forward, and I got to see the political process. We went to the Capitol. We toured we went to places that normal people like me and you wouldn't able to go to. And really, it's an awe-inspiring experience to see that. And also, this past summer, I was the 2019 delegate of the Florida American Legion Boys State, where I achieved the rank of Supreme Court Justice, and many people, including Joe Taylor and Fletcher Dillmore, have went to that program from Chipley High School, and it really is an awe-inspiring experience. And I really hope to get more people from Chipley to go to Boys State and to go to Florida House Page and Messenger program just to see and just to travel to get more attention to Washington County students who are interested in government and politics.
Wow, well, that was something of which I was unaware, that we should have been talking to the community about that at the time. Our youngest son works on Capitol Hill. He's the communications director for one of the senators in Congress. He's been there for a number of years, and that air gets very rarefied, and you definitely change. So be careful what you wish for. Even Tallahassee, but the bigger into the government, the higher into the government you get, the more things change. It becomes a them versus us mentality, where you become one of them, or you're us, and the whole rest of the world is. So keep your wits about you when it comes to that. We talked a little bit about 10 years from now and maybe the broad picture, but what are your interests today? What do you like to do when you're not thinking about how you're going to dominate Chipley High School for the next year?
What I like to do, I attend church regularly, so I like to serve my pastor when he's preaching. I give him water, different things, basically like a pastor's aide. I help him out, and any events that he goes to, I usually go with him there and help him out when he's doing that. Also, like any kid, I like to game. I'm a gamer, avid gamer, yes sir. And
Fortnite?
No, not Fortnite, but some other games like GTA, stuff like that on my computer. I'm a PC gamer. And I just enjoy hanging around family, like just having the family time, because nowadays in life is getting shorter and shorter, and you never know how much time you have left with your family. So I like to enjoy that quality family time.
Well, you're wise beyond your years, certainly. I have a hard time. You're 18?
I'm 17.
17. I have a hard time believing that you're still that young, speaking as you are. You're obviously surrounded by a lot of people who are saying and conducting themselves in the right fashion. It's all about role models. You're trying to be a role model to others, but you've got role models that are responsible for molding you into what you are. Alicia, what do you think about the fact that we've got young men, young adults such as Elijah within your school with another whole year to go before they're gone or more, and using them as part of your effort to connect, to buffer, to teach, to learn? What an asset it must be to you as an administrator.
It is an asset. It really is. And we, not only Elijah, but we have many young men and ladies and men who are just doing great things at Chipley High School. And I have to, give a shout out to them. I appreciate what they do. I appreciate the hard work, and I appreciate the parents who are behind the students, who are encouraging them also to come to school and learn as much as they can. It's needed. Again, this is our future, and just as we're helping them, they need to help other people, and that's what it's all about. It's giving back. On the first day of school, we have someone who's coming back to us. His name is Mr. Glenn Mayo. He graduated from Chipley High School, and he's going to come back on the first day of school, and he's going to talk to students about the importance of just, hanging on in there, studying, being where you need to be when you need to be there, and just being respectful and just doing homework. All those things that he did, he's going to talk to our students about why it took all of that to get him where he is today. So it's giving back. One day we hope Elijah will come back and do the same thing. And then there are others. We have a lot of role models in our school. Mm-hmm.
Well, you mentioned Glenn Mayo, and he and a group of guys have an organization, a nonprofit called Reach, and they're doing a back-to-school fair at Powell's Park. Unfortunately, they picked the day on which the largest back-to-school festival in the county is held at Live Oak Baptist Church in Vernon. And that's, I think, the 10th annual, so it's huge, and they wanted us to get involved, and we couldn't because of that very large one. And so, unfortunately, they didn't check calendars, so we wish them luck with that, though. And it looks like they are just starting to get geared up. They do have an effort to reach the younger, I want to say the younger kids, but not so much the young adults, truly. We're on the cusp of changing from living at home with mom and dad to going out into that world. And the more organizations that have that as a focus, I think, the better. We're fortunate in this community. We've got a lot of churches. We've got a lot of nonprofits who do just that. They reach out. I know that my church, it kind of ebbs and flows, but your youth program sometimes kind of peters out, and then it becomes strong again. In school, as a Kiwanian, we have a school component of the Kiwanis Club, and it's been strong up until the last few years. There are so many extracurricular activities, from sports to clubs, academic associations. These kids are pulled every which way, and so it makes it tough for any organization to do well. What are some of the organizations, Elijah, now, extracurricular activity-wise, that, aside from sports, that high school students can become a part of to further develop as people?
Well, speaking on that, coming in with Ms. Clemmons, we've had, I think, about 4 or 5 new clubs coming to Chipley High School.
We have.
A lot of new clubs coming to Chipley High School. We've had, just to name a few, if I don't remember any, take it to my head and not my heart. Avid Club, Key Club, and I think a Science Club and Beta Club.
Club?
Yeah, Beta Club and some other clubs. And Key Club, I think it works with the Kiwanis Club.
Yes. Yeah, that's
so they're going to be working with the Kiwanis Club and getting together. And Avid Club is a branch off of Avid for students who may not be able to come into the class, or maybe not have the same period, or may not be where the schedule is not as flexible as other people. They can still be a part of Avid and have that tutoring.
An extracurricular Avid type of, okay.
And we also have where I'm a part of a student council, and this year we'll actually be having a leadership class. Like they had the leadership class I think 1 year before. They had a leadership class, and it basically builds out the leader in you at Chipley High School. We're going to be doing different community service activities around the community, and we'll hope to see you taking some good pictures of us, sir.
Yeah, make sure you keep us apprised when you have things come up, and give us as much advance notice as possible. So many times people call us the day of or the day before, and it's like, oh man, you knew about this 6 months. You could have. If you go in here to my office, I've got the whole year on the wall, so we can schedule a year out. So make sure you tell us. What I do notice, though, with the common denominator of all of these organizations, inclusive of sports, is that it makes that student challenge himself or herself. It makes that person look into themselves. I mentioned the Avid group that came in to shoot here. That series of interviews, and Ms. White was very gracious. She allowed me to come up with the questions to ask the kids. And the answers we got, it's be careful what you wish for almost, to be careful what you ask, because they gave me some real insightful pictures into their insecurities or their self-doubts that they were to overcome through the Avid program. And I think that every one of the programs that you mentioned, and even the sports programs, do just that. They allow you to grow physically and mentally and spiritually and morally, more importantly, and to question that which is around you and to decide who you are and where you fit into the world so that you can be all that you can be, to steal that phrase from the Air Force. Is it the Air Force? Be all you can be?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir. I really do agree. Be all you can be. And Chipley High School is a well-rounded from 9th grade to 12th grade. They really build you up to the person you are going to be. They build you up to be a better person in the community, to come to Chipley High School as a student and leave as a whole alumni and a whole, just basically a tiger. You're basically really a tiger. I would say you're not really a tiger until you complete the 4 years at Chipley High School and you really take the journey. And it is a Tiger Nation journey. Really
Apologies to my Air Force friends for spacing out on the be all you can be phrase. Alicia, is there anything that you would like to add? It's kind of grab a rope and hang on. You're getting ready to kick off school year 2019-20. And before we know it, you're going to have homecoming. You're going to have certainly all the football activities, basketball right behind that, all of your scholastic events. Christmas right around the corner. Somebody mentioned the other day how many days it was till Christmas, and why they come up with this stuff. It's crazy when it's 105 outside.
You're not thinking about Christmas.
But this year, it's not hard to look at the whole thing and almost feel like you're through it already because of the nature of the preparation that you've had to do.
There's always something going on at Chipley High School, and it's good. Students need something to do. They need something to do. We have a great band. Mr. Davenport does a wonderful job with the band. We have a good athletics department. Mr. Wilson, Coach Wilson, does great with athletics. The other extracurriculars that we have great support. Our superintendent is everywhere. Whenever we have something, he's there. Our school board members, they're always supportive. Great teachers, it's just a great place to be. It really is. So even though we are moving a lot, it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. When we see that student walk across that stage with that big smile on his face or her face at the end of the school year, that's what it's all about. That's what it's, and when they give you that hug because they know, you know what, I had a good time at Chipley High School. It's worth it.
Elijah, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Yes, sir. I would just like to thank Mayor Tracy Andrews and the wonderful attorney LaDre Gilbert for always their support, and they've given me lots of recommendation letters for different colleges and the different programs I had to go into, and if I didn't say this earlier, excuse me, but I shadow under Mayor Andrews in both of her positions, and she goes to my church, so I know her very well, and she's imparted a lot of wisdom on me in this journey.
When you say both her positions, you mean as the manager at Gulf Power as well as the mayor. Tracy's a personal friend, and we've worked with her in the past, and we think a lot of Tracy. Tracy is a good example of the fact that you never outgrow self-doubt. And even when she was nominated as mayor, she just didn't know whether she should take it or not. And she, we had long talks, and she's as fine a person as I know, probably, and a good representative of our area. Represents Gulf Power so well, represents the city of Chipley, but more importantly, represents our community. That spirit of servant, the servitude. She's a doer. A lot of people just like to go to meetings. I'm a doer. I prefer just to go jump in there and get something done, and Tracy certainly is that as well. Alicia, thank you so much for coming this morning and bringing Elijah with you. Best of luck going forward. Elijah, certainly best of luck to you going forward. We'll be watching you closely this year. Make sure you let us know when you have activities going on.
Yes, sir, we will.
Don't forget to let your likely candidates who might want to be dual enrolled at Chipley High School to check out all the offerings here at the Technical College.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you so very much.
Well, thanks again for being here. Our guests today have been Elijah Hooks, incoming president of Chipley High School, as well as Alicia Clemmons, incoming principal at Chipley High School. As I started out this segment by saying the weather is getting a little bit cooler, fall is in the air. When school starts, it just seems like it just grab a rope and hang on because there's all kinds of exciting things to do. Some of the best entertainment around is the school sports, the academic events, the school theater projects. If you live anywhere close enough to the school to take advantage of that stuff, shame on you if you don't. We'll be right back.